So today we're going to talk about bending but not breaking. So let's jump into the video and talk about it. My name is Amanda from Learning to Love Well, and if you are new to this channel, it is a homeschool channel from a biblical worldview. We don't do anything really fancy. I'm a homeschool mom of 4. We talk about biblical encouragement. We sometimes hang out in the garden. We talk about curriculum. We talk about sales. We talk about just homeschool from a biblical Christian perspective. Today we're going to talk about bending but not breaking. Can I just be real with you guys? We had the holidays. Before the holidays, we had a lot of ER trips. We had an ER trip late last night. It has been a very eventful couple of weeks/months. And I feel like so many times we can have everything perfectly planned out, what our plans are, our 10-year checklist, our 5-year checklist. We have all these plans, and planning is a wonderful thing. Having goals is a wonderful thing. Prayerfully discussing your goals with your spouse and seeking to improve, yourself, eating healthier, all of these things. And right around New Year's, we start making a bunch of resolutions and all the things that we think we're going to accomplish. Routines, schedules, all of those things are so great to have implemented. You will see me talk about flow. You will see me talk about schedules. You will see that we have schedules on that are running this house, that we have things and structures that my kids know where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. We have those things. But can I be so honest with you? There are times that all of our best planning gets chucked out the window because of the fact that life happens. Like I said, before the holidays even hit, we had hospital visits. I was running back and forth to the hospital almost daily. We had eye appointments, doctor's appointments. We had one thing right after another. And there are some things in life that you just cannot control. And I think that sometimes because we are in charge of our children's education, that we try to plan everything out, but it doesn't always work that way. That's why I always encourage prayerful planning, not rigid, I have to do this for, I have to get this done. It's for us not to make it so much about us. Because although productivity matters, scheduling matters, planning matters, all of that matters, if you do not have a good system for when things go south, you will break instead of bend. And I say that with all the love in my heart, that it is wonderful to have systems. And again, I mean, if you've watched more of my channel, you know that we have those. My kids know when they're going to core subjects. My kids know what they're doing in the morning. They have chore routines. We all know what it takes to make this house function, and all of us are very, very aware of what we're supposed to be doing when we're supposed to be doing it. I'm not against that. But we also have to know how to bend when it comes time to bend. Because life has a way of throwing us off kilter and off track at some of our most vulnerable moments. And sometimes when we feel like we're the strongest is when we get thrown a loop. I have lived on a farm. We were staying with my parents, and my husband was still in the Marine Corps, and I came back to help with a family member. And I will tell you, when we stayed on the farm, it never failed. The days that I wanted to be the most structured, the goats would get out. Or something crazy would happen and we would go wrangle goats. Or babies were born that had to be bottle fed. Or there would just be something. Even now that we are not on the farm and we're still close to the farm, but we're not at the farm. There are still unexpected phone calls that I can get first thing in the morning where I'm like, hey, I'm headed to the hospital. Or, I have a child who got a phone call who needed to go get something reran from the pediatrician's office. And if you have no margin for bend, when those things happen, either you'll throw the whole homeschool day out, or you will not have any backup plan, or you will be stressed to the hilt. Over the years, I have found that packing up the homeschool books and going on an unexpected adventure, or now that my kids are older, being able to Skype in and be like, hey, this is what needs to get done. This is what you guys are doing. Call me if you need help. Or setting up backup plans so that everybody can get through the homeschool, or having people even that I trust that can step in as substitute teachers. Having those kind of contingency and backup plans can really help you bend and not break. I think all of us want to think of ourselves as we have the ability to just do it all ourselves, but man, like, that is just not reality. And if you do not have a good backup plan for when things go south, it is very, very easy for you to either just throw homeschool away because it gets too difficult or it gets too hard. Or what happens if we hit a subject that one of our children is just not getting, and it seems to put a wrench in the whole homeschool day? What do you do about that? How do you handle that? What happens when maybe there's something going on financially, or there's a burden going on and you are just stressed out? What do you do? I say all of that not to be the bearer of bad news or to be the Debbie Downer, I think that's what they call it. But we can become so rigid. We can plan, but it's God who has to establish our steps. That we can lay out our best laid plans, and prayerfully we're doing so. But when things go wrong, do we know how to take a moment, breathe, go pray, and go tackle the next thing that's been put in front of us? If we don't, we're going to constantly be frustrated, and we're going to lose our joy and our peace because we are so uptight over all the things. And trust me, guys, I could get a badge for this, okay? If there are people who watch my videos before I put them out, and I can tell you right now, there are people who are probably, after watching this, that they're going to be like, yeah, we've had those conversations with Amanda. Because I am one of those people who literally plan my day like I have a 24-hour day and I can sprint all the way through my day. The people who know me know that I don't exactly make life easier on myself. In fact, some of the times I make my life a little harder than it needs to be. But I do it with the good intention of serving my family to the best of my ability and doing whatever the Lord has called me to do and running the race, right? But I mean, to be fair, I'm not exactly the poster child for I know how to get everything done all the time, because sometimes things come up and all of my plans get flushed and it's just like, okay, what do I do? And normally in those moments, I need to get alone with God and I need to talk to him. And then I need to start doing the next thing that will help me to get to whatever goal or challenge that I need to accomplish. There's a channel called This Momma's Faith, and I remember listening to one of her videos, and she talked about a 16th century chapel, and I don't remember who wrote it, but it was written on the wall, and it says, do the next right thing. On days where everything goes crazy, that is my advice. Take a minute, talk to Jesus, breathe, and then do the next right thing. And maybe that next right thing isn't what you think it is. Maybe that next right thing might be like, okay, kids, let's pack up our books. We have to go on this trip. We got to get this done. Maybe the next right thing is, hey, we just found out something that is hard. Maybe we just need to be here for each other. Or maybe the next right thing is, hey guys, we're going to see if we can buddy up and move you guys around so you guys are helping each other during this. Or maybe the next right thing is, hey, we're going to put on that backup DVD that I've been putting away for a time like this, that I can pull out so that you guys can be learning some new skills while I'm preoccupied taking care of this. there are so many options for backup plans when you need them. And I'm not encouraging laziness. I don't think that gets us anywhere. Like I said, there's always a couple of different ditches you can fall into. Normally they're the extremes on both sides, right? But if you have the opportunity, if you have a couple of things that you're just like, Lord, do I have a backup plan? If I get sick a day, if maybe we have the flu going through our house, if I get an unexpected phone call where I'm needed, if I'm a caretaker and I need to go pull up that role, whatever your role is, do you have some kind of contingency plan? Prayerfully talk to the Lord about it so that whenever you need to take that day away or have that moment where you're like, okay, I need like an hour to get whatever this emergency is completed. Do I have something that can help my children in that time? Do I have some kind of backup plan where we can switch subjects to an easier subject that they're not going to need me sitting next to them? Any of those things can become so beneficial in the short term so that when life gets messy, you can kind of bend with it and you won't become so rigid in all the routines that you will be lost the moment that something bad happens. I am completely like pro routine, pro flow, pro all of these wonderful things. I love planning. I love writing down my to-do lists and checklists and all of those things. But prayerfully consider whatever you would do in the moment that something maybe you need to have a little extra time. So with that being said, I'm signing off. It's not the happiest go luckiest video today, and I know that, but it's just a quick reminder that Mama, life happens. And when life happens, be intentional to go ahead and think about that contingency fund. This is why people have savings accounts. This is why people put extra money away for a rainy day, because sometimes we have the best laid plans, but we having that nest egg, that backup, that buffer can get us out of a lot of trouble. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and God bless.